here at the COP27 from Sharm el-Sheikh and still with our coverages, and we are delighted to have with us Dr. Morsy, the President of the National Women Council. We thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. Let me start with asking you about the overall. Here Egypt has been putting women or empowering women in the forefront priorities. How is that delivering on the scene?
Actually, we had a lot of preparation to come to the COP27. We started early in March to present the vision, the global vision of Egypt regarding women inclusion in the climate change agenda. It was in the United Nations, in the Committee on the Status of Women. Egypt had their 7 priorities, starting with women in decision making, green economy and blue economy, research, ideational change, all the package related to the full inclusion of women in this agenda. With this said, we had moved from a global vision of Egypt to an specific African initiative, the presidential initiative that was launched on the 14th in the Gender Day. The initiative is focusing on the African continent as a whole and African women. We are creating a nexus between the women ministers of empowerment or women empowerment and the ministers of environment, because we found that there is a lack of discussion between the both decision makers. So we have around 20 women ministers of environment in Africa. So we're going to create the nexus between both. We're focusing on raising awareness on the importance of STEM education and the inclusion of girls, young girls, and the importance of including them in a younger age. Focusing as well on the green jobs. 5 billion jobs are going to be created worldwide regarding green economy. So what is the percentage of the African women in this green jobs? How we can build their capacity and include them in and raise their talents and capacity development at large, to make sure that they have the opportunity to compete on equal basis with men in the green job. And the research and development is extremely important. We have to have a forecasting strategy. The what if there is a challenge or a crisis? What are the problems that would be facing women at large in the African continent? And at the same with the research and development, developing a strategy to adapt with a resilience or a resilient focus, help African women at large. We're working with the United Nations, UN Women, the United Nations focusing on the women agenda, and the UNDP, the United Nations Development Program, as the main champions. We have a consortium of UN, in addition to having civil society from the African continent, plus of course the private sector. It's very important to have the private sector on board, and for the financial of the whole package, it's extremely important to be on the table around the table to make sure that financial contributions have a gender focus.
Indeed, this is from a very wider perspective, and indeed lots of efforts have been done. Speaking about this access and COP27 and this beautiful initiative that you have initiated during the COP, Women and Climate Change Initiative. Tell us more about it, definitely for Africa. Tell us more about this initiative, and how would that help women take into consideration or raise the awareness towards this threat?
First of all, this is the first implementable initiative in the COPs at large. It started by a Gender Day, then there are small initiatives here and there. What we have done is study all the initiatives and see what is the missing ingredient. The missing ingredients are real, concrete actions on the ground. Having a forum of discussion that would be meeting beyond the COPs. It's not the celebration in the COPs or the discussion in the COPs, right? The Gender Day, we had the Gender Day with 50 speakers talking from climate finance to decision making to green economy, to inclusion of civil society, to leadership. But it's very important to continue, to have a continuation of the discussion. And for the most vulnerable or the women real in need, it's important that to have a trickle-down effect of this COP27 or other COPs. What is the benefit that would take would, how a woman in a village would benefit from all what we're talking. So water and sanitation with Haya Karima is something. The decent life or the women, the family empowerment program is another thing that Egypt is focusing on the ground, and at large the investment in young girls. So we have to simplify the terminologies and the programs to reach out and to have a trickle-down effect on the grassroots. And this is how Egypt is working on it. So sometimes we are taking the programs from a national, like the Decent Life, from Egypt to Africa. So we have an African the Decent Life program with the Ministry of Planning and Economic Development, or we are taking the small jobs and the expertise in one of the African villages, countries, and we're trickling it down to a national level. So it's a two ways process. But what was really impressive here is the attendance, the number of, I just heard that there are 49,000 participants in this COP. There is around more than 11,000 observers, civil society. So I keep on saying we're meeting all here to save an 8 billion lives. So I think it's important, and what we're seeing around is an excellent discussion, vibrant side events, and I hope for the last 2 days it continue with success, inshallah.
Indeed, it's together for implementation, and it is.
It is for implementation, and Egypt is really committed to have it for implementation, for saving the lives of everyone.
Dr. Maya Morsy, President of the National Council for Women, we thank you so much for being with us on Nile TV.
Thank you, dear. Thank you.